There you go.
Okay. All right, this is a letter, May 7th, 2013. Honorable Beth, Harwell, Speaker of the House, Drusilla Smith, Fuller, Reporter, Honorable Lowe, Finney, Chairman, Senate Democratic Caucus, Honorable Ron Ramsey, Speaker of the Senate. Copies to Nick Bailey, Campaign Manager, Ward DeWitt, Campaign Treasurer, Roy Herron, Chairman of the Tennessee Democratic Party. Here's the letter. Ladies and gentlemen, the party has honored me with nomination for the General Assembly in 1954 and in 1970, 1974, 1978, 1982, 1986, 1990, 1994, 1998, 2002, 2006, and 2010. The elector of Davidson County and from time to time a few other counties as well honored me by sending me the General Assembly each of the above years. I enclosed a copy of a letter from my physician, Dr. Mohana Karlekar. She gave me this advice last year. I have not acted upon it until now. It is my intention, Lord willing, to serve the regular session of the General Assembly in 2014 and any special sessions called during that year up until the November election. However, I shall not stand for nomination in the 2014 primary, nor shall I stand for election in the 2014 general election. Mrs. Henry's health is not good. With great respect to each of you, my friends and colleagues, I remain very true to yours, Douglas Henry. And this letter is enclosed with it. To whom it may concern, I have been caring for Senator Douglas Henry since the end of 2009. He has multiple medical issues that have progressed over the last few years. It is my medical judgment that if he continues to keep at the pace he working as a senator, that it will negatively impact his health. I have recommended to him that he reduce his activities so that he can concentrate on his health. I do not recommend that he run for another term as senator, as I do think it would be detrimental to his overall health. Best regard, Mohana Karlekar. That's you, Miss Lowe.
So, Senator,
Ma'am.
you're saying that you won't be running in this cycle?
That's correct. I'll not be running in the primary next year, 2014, nor in the general election that year.
Well, you've had wonderful compliments from both parties on your service here, particularly in financial matters. What do you do to keep such a balance between the parties and bipartisan?
Well, Ms. Fuller, as you and some of your readers know, I'm a Democrat, have been born into the Democratic Party, as was my father, grandfather, great-grandfather. But I've always thought about it more as an association of good folks rather than as a direction to me on how I should conduct myself in office. When I get to office, well, I think the Democratic Party stands for good things. I do indeed, otherwise I wouldn't be one. But I don't think the Democratic Party binds me on how I conduct myself. So I've tried to handle my work in the Senate along that line. I try to look at the bills and see what I think about them from the standpoint of Tennessee as a whole and act accordingly.
Well, I once heard Congressman Jim Cooper say that when the governor went to see what his bond rating was going to be recently, a lot of them had gone down, Moody's and Fitch and so forth, that all they needed to know was that Doug Henry was in Tennessee and they gave him a good bond rating.
Really? I've never heard that story. Oh, that's great. I appreciate that. Good. The way I got to be chairman of the Finance Committee was sort of odd. I was, 1980-something, I think. I hadn't been in the Senate too long. And the chairman of the Finance Committee at that time was Milton Hamilton. He went on to other things. So the spot opened up and John Wilder was Speaker. And I said, Speaker, I think you ought to appoint Ed Black, who was a senator from Columbia, a very, very good man. I said, I think you ought to appoint Ed Black, chairman of the Finance Committee. He said, I'll appoint you. I said, no, I think Black can do a better job of it. He said, no, I want you to do it. So there I was. That's where I remained up until, of course, the revolution we had. And at that time, the Speaker very properly appointed his own member of his own party, as chairman of finance. Randy McNally, who's a wonderful finance chairman. He's much better than I was. Randy's good. Randy was Randy was vice chairman. I was chairman. Now I'm what they call honorary chairman. Randy's chairman. We got along fine. I'm really happy he's chairman.
Well, how many years were you at the finance chairman?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Diane, you have an idea? Sometime in the 80s, I think I became chairman. And then I was chairman up until 2010, I suppose.
Unfortunately, we lost Ed Blank, so he wouldn't have been there that long.
No, yeah, boy, yeah, he died early. He was a good man, but he died early.
Well, you've had some compliments from, I think, the state treasurer and the state comptroller on what you've done for the pension system.
Well, yes, under the rules, under the statute, if you're chairman of the finance committee, that makes you a member of the council on pension and retirements, which reviews all the bills that they have used. And I've sort of done the best I could to keep us from promising more than we could pay. That's what that's all about. So our pension is in good shape, and not my doing. We've had good treasurer. We've got David Little down. Before that, who was treasurer for Little? Not Steve Adams. After Steve and before Little. Who came between Little? Who came between Adams and Little? Adams retired and went to work for the lottery. Oh, Dale Sims.
Oh, yeah.
And said the treasurer runs the pension system as part of the job. And those fellows were all level-headed guys and knew what they were doing. And got in the road where we don't invest in what I would call foolish things like some states. We just invest in solid investments. But I've tried to emphasize what they have said and done. That's why it's in good shape.
Well, it runs the state pensions. Aren't there some local pensions?
Yes. Any local government in Tennessee that wants to can join the state system. Is their choice. And that's Nashville does not. Nashville runs its own, but I think all the big cities run their own. But there are lots of counties and cities throughout the state. There are several hundred of them belong to the state pension system. The state doesn't pay for them. They pay it their own way, but the state's investment ability is what they use.
So when you keep the state in shape, you keep all of them in shape that have elected to be in it.
Yes, it works that way. That works that way because under the rules, once they join the state system, they have to keep the payments up, and they don't do investing themselves. The state does all the investing. Same place the state puts the state's money and the employees' money. So it works pretty well. If any city wants to operate its own system, they have to, of course, be regularly periodically audited. Also, the treasurer oversees how they're doing it and checks from time to time.
You had quite a impact in this area on the environment with the support you gave for Radnor Lake.
Well, that's been a good thing. Miss Henry and I drive out there fairly often just to look at the crowds and see the people enjoy it. It's a real pleasure to go out there and see the people enjoy Radnor Lake. That's what it was for, you know. I don't do much walking anymore because I have to carry sticks. But used to walk around it. It was fun. Have you ever, your readers, I'm sure, have been out there. Just to go out there some more. In the springtime it's fine, the fall is fine. A little hot in the summer, a little cold in the winter. But in the spring and fall it's really good out there. And we got that thanks to Governor Winfield Dunn. Yes. When he was governor, at that time, there was a lot of federal money flowing. President Johnson believed he could do all kinds of things at once: fight the war in Vietnam, defeat poverty, all those things. At any rate, he sent the money, and Governor Dunn had an environmental advisor named Ed. Oh gosh, I know him well. I can't pull up names anymore, but he had. Oh gosh, what was his name? Well, anyhow, he advised the governor to buy around the lake because it was up for sale. People want to build houses around it and put, folks say, be fertilizing the yards and fertilizer flow down into the lake and run the lake for the fish and so forth, turtles. So Governor Dunn said okay, and he put that in his budget and took the federal money called BOR, Bureau of Outdoor Recreation, what they call the federal money, BOR. Put the BOR money in it. Also, several of us had worked on raising a little money beside that. And put that with the BOR money and bought the property, and there it is today.
Well, you've had such an impact on this area and on the state of Tennessee. Is there a special program you'd like to highlight?
Special what?
Program that you worked on that you'd like to highlight?
Well, there were 2 or 3 things I enjoyed. One was the child abuse reporting law. That was my first big project. That worked pretty well. It's been improved over the years, but formerly there was not any system for reporting child abuse. Then John Bragg, who was chairman of the House Finance Committee, he's the best individual legislator I ever knew. He was a crackerjack. Gosh, he was good. John and I sponsored a bill to establish what's called, what the name is called a revenue fluctuation reserve. They call it now the rainy day fund. It's a reserve that the state maintains, and it's not too far down from where it should be. It's gone up over the years, and what that is, it's used when there's been a dip in the economy, and a particular program is suffering because of that. The revenue fluctuation reserve is used to keep that program going till the economy improves, and then when the money starts coming in again, we build the fund back up. That's been good. That's helped us get a good credit rating. We know we have. We have a very good credit rating. We used to have the best you could have. There are 3 rating services, and we used to have the highest rating of all 3 of them. But then, a few years ago, we spent money we didn't have. In those years, I was the one sponsoring the appropriation bill in the Senate. I refused to sponsor that one because I saw where it was going to take us, and it did. We lost our good credit rating. Now we've built it back up at 2 of the rating agencies to the highest possible place. Just got 1 more notch to go with the other, and we'll be back where we were.
What are you going to do now to keep an eye on what's happening in Tennessee?
Well, Miss Fuller, I have to leave that up to you and other citizens. I'll try to look around and see if there's anything I can do useful to the state.
Well, you've been known as the most civic-minded of all the politicians. You always come to everybody's event and make sure that you have taken part in it.
Well, I've tried to get around the best way I could. That's, you got to, if you're going to be in this line of work, I think you got to get out among them. I've known fellas in this line of work who didn't think you had to get out among them, but they didn't last too long. So but then I enjoy it. It's not just to get reelected. If you show up, go to occasion, people come up and tell you things they're interested in, what you need to know, and it's helpful to me to go to places. Now, one, I may not be so civic after I make this announcement, but I don't know. I probably will.
Well, do you think the seat will stay in good hands in the?
Think what?
The seat your district will stay in good hands
Well,
after you leave?
it's a funny looking thing now. There's a picture of that. It looks like a horseshoe. They had redistricting a couple of years ago. It used to be the southern part of Davidson County, kind of crossed like that. Well, now it runs out to River Road, and that's right, and it runs way up here to Madison. It's wild now. So, I don't know who's going to run for it. I'm going to wait, and after the field is made up, I'll see who's running. Then I'll have an opinion probably, but not right now.
Well, thank you very much for speaking with me, and thank you for all your service.
Thank you.
You were
Ms.
my
Fuller.
senator.
Well, thank you, Ms. Fuller. I've enjoyed it very much. It's been a privilege.